Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. I am your host, Corey Olson, the Tolkien Professor, President of the Mythgard Institute, and happy to be with you again here today. Of course, last week we were tragically prevented from having our regular weekly stream by the fact of the unexpected server downtime that lasted the whole afternoon last week. So I was sad to miss our time last week, as which I expected to have. But we're back. We're back this week, and Gryfflet is ready to make some progress towards helping Aragorn to reforge Andúril. So exciting, even if in the short term it also means spending a lot of time assembling statue pieces, somewhat improbably, from random grave robbers. But anyway, we're ready to go. Say hello, Gryfflet. Hi there. Oops, I almost forgot to change my audio settings so that things aren't too loud. There we go. Let's get rid of the music, and then we're good. Okay, here we go. Gryfflet is set, and we're ready to go. So, I was just noticing something. So I've got my cosmetic cornstalks. We notice they're still, green and red radiance shining from the midst of the cornstalks. It's like I'm actually concealing my magic weapons inside the cornstalks. That's kind of special. I never noticed that before. Okay, so anyway, as I mentioned last time, you'll remember that I was in the less than perfectly exhilarating task of assembling those small statue pieces from random tomb robbers, which had a relatively small drop rate. So Gryfflet has been busy. Last week when we couldn't do the stream, he figured he'd at least run around and assemble small statue pieces. So we have those, but we're still missing the large statue pieces. And so for that, we have come down into, as you can see, we are down, not up on the hill where we were last time, but down in the lake. We are, yes, here we are, on this island, which I don't remember if it has a name. Yes, it does have a name, but we haven't found it yet because we haven't gotten far enough in there yet. So we're going to go here because we were told that this is where we might want to go in order to acquire large statue pieces. So we're going to look around here. All right, it's going to stealth ourselves so that we can conceal ourselves from tomb robbers. And we're going to go... So this is, of course, an interesting little island. We've been looking at the way, sort of trying to get a sense of the way that Turbine is depicting, is sort of conceiving of Evendim culture, right? And the main observation that we've been making, combining our observations of the Rantost, that's right, of course, combining our observations of the actual buildings that we see here in Evendim with what we know of the lore. And of course, the main thing that we see is that the Evendim culture was primarily a peaceful culture. Though these buildings are grand, they are not generally buildings of great fortification. Like, you even notice this gateway here. Hey, ooh, large statue pieces. How lovely. But anyway, you can see how wide this gateway was, into this courtyard here. Again, if you generally don't want ground floor windows, and you don't want unnecessarily large doors if your primary function is defense. Okay, so let's see. I have to unstealth myself to pick up large pieces. So I'm gonna see if I can do a bloodless extraction of large statue pieces. Okay, so let's see. What are we supposed to imagine here? Are we supposed to be imagining that this courtyard in which these large chunks of statue are sitting around, that could only mean, really, that this must be ooh, that guy's named. Yeah, I was going to say, this must be the place where this statue was disassembled, right? So we're imagining that this statue, whose pieces we are so painstakingly reassembling, was disassembled here in this courtyard in Rantost. And I drew them both, didn't I? I was kind of hoping I wouldn't draw them both, but that's okay. Let's stun Mr. Percy. Okay. That's right, Percy. Okay. And let's do our best not to perish, as that would be bad form. Okay. Alright, we got the big guy. This guy should prove less difficult. So anyway, so we're no good that was. Honestly, hey, at least I got the statue piece before it came. So again, so I can only assume that we're supposed to imagine that the statue was brought, whatever the statue is, it was either brought or found here on this courtyard, and here disassembled, and then a bunch of the tomb robbers must have apparently taken souvenirs elsewhere. Where's the other piece? There's got to be 4 pieces. 3 of them were here in this courtyard. The other one's got to be about. Where is it? Oh, hey, Kiriana. You totally can't see me because I am so well stealthed. Alright, I'm swimming stealthily. Which is kind of hard to do if you think about it. Where was that? Oh, it's up there? I don't go up there. Oh, fine. Can I go around this way? By the way, I love this little boat landing thing. I mean, this seems like... now, remember, of course, that the lake was flooded. The Blue Lady has elevated she's elevated the water level in the lake in order to conceal the Tomb of Elendu. So, you know, that's... what we're seeing here is not the original level, water level of the lake. But... hang on. Let's see if I can let that guy go past. Here. Alright. And then once it gets past, I shall stealthily take this last large statue piece. Hooray! Backing back into the corner. Shh. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Now they'll never see me. Alright. Okay, and re-stealth. Now back to Robin Dunkley. Okay, so the water level has gone up. But I still wonder about this this passage. This area here really does... well, no, see, there's a flagged courtyard under it. Okay, so it wasn't originally like a... doesn't this kind of look like a drive-through? Or, you know, like, or a boat-through, I guess. Anyway, it kind of looks like that to me. But no, you can see the flagged floor under that. That was originally just the... that went out to here, right? Yeah, there it ends there at the gate. So, but this channel seems to have been designed for boats anyway. You got to think that they were on the lake a lot in boats, those old Arnurians. But this was clearly, I mean, again, you look at this. This is another one of those obvious pleasure houses, right? This is an estate. This is not a castle. See, we have again those things which appear to be stained glass windows, right? Yeah. So this would have been a lovely. Estate, you know, down on this this nice island, right, out in the water, really gorgeous. Maybe like a little Arnurian boathouse over there, right? That's totally what I'm thinking. Because remember, when Elendil settled here, he thought that war was done, right? That he had come to the end of his struggles. You know, we talked about this last time, right? The sort of good news, bad news situation there. On the one hand, Numenor was no more, and that's kind of a downer. But on the other hand, Sauron had been destroyed too, presumably. So, and the king's men, and the king and all of his men had been destroyed. So they were going to establish a new life of peace here in the land of their deliverance. I'm going to unstealth myself so that I don't swim slower than I need to. It seems appropriate that I should spend some time swimming here. Because of course I know this region is called Lake Everswim by the veterans, and of course I've been told many times since I only have been playing Locho for about a year that I can't even really fully appreciate how much time was spent swimming across the lake by more veteran players in the past, which I totally get. I appreciate the fast boats which have been installed, and really it seems like long since time for the Dunedain to assemble a quick boat service. That seems like the obvious thing. So very sensible of them to have done so. But at least we do get a little bit of time of Gryfflet swimming across Lake Evendim, and this will doubtless not be for the last time here during this set of adventures. But okay, so yes, Evendim, this lovely retreat center of the Arnorians. I think I can get up from here through. I need to get up to Ostvarod. Let's see if I can make it without falling down and breaking anybody's ankles, either of my pony or of myself. I can't see it. Oh, that's a rock. Okay, there we go. All right, making some progress. Okay. Well, as I attempt to mountaineer my way back around to Ostvarod, let me queue up one of the lore questions that we have left over. Okay. Oh, look at that! I'm being attacked. Hi there. Yeah, I didn't see you. Look, ambusher. I was about to look at lore questions here when I was so rudely interrupted by an ambush. That's right. Don't do it again. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to. So here's another one. Oops. Hey, almost went off the cliff. Yes, it did. Let's see. One of Josh Ramsey's excellent questions here. He says, when Gandalf told Faramir that he was called Olorin, remember the famous passage where Gandalf mentioned, or when Man, it's really unfair that these tomb robbers can one-shot my horse. That's really annoying. Okay, so that passage where Faramir is telling Frodo about Gandalf, and he is relating to him the time when Gandalf explained to Faramir his names, right? The many names he's had. He was called Forn among the dwarves, in Canus in the south, and Gandalf in the north, and he says that he was called Olorin, and the quote that Josh has very appropriately made is, he was called Olorin in his youth in the West, which is forgotten. And Josh's question is, what did he mean when he said that it was forgotten? By whom was it forgotten? Was it his youth, or was it the West that was forgotten? And was it Gandalf or someone else who did the forgetting? And he was saying, none of that seems to really fit quite right. That's a great question. There are many statements like that which are kind of ambiguous. My understanding of that statement is that, you could kind of take it in multiple ways, right? Because there is a sense in which, certainly Gandalf's youth is forgotten, right? But I think it's the West. I think he's talking about the forgotten West. And it's not been forgotten by everybody. I mean, obviously, like Elrond and Galadriel and Círdan the Shipwright haven't forgotten about the West. But in general, the West is forgotten. That is, to the average person. Remember, he's talking to Faramir, right? Faramir's relating the story. So even among the Gondorians don't forget completely about the existence of Valinor in the West. But it would make sense. My suspicion there is that Gandalf himself is kind of deliberately speaking in Númenórean dialect there. That is, in Gondorian dialect, if you see what I mean. That is, I wouldn't be at all surprised to find that the Gondorians sometimes referred to lost Valinor as the West which is forgotten, because everybody else has forgotten it. All the other peoples of Middle-earth, the elves still remember, the Gondorians still remember, but most of the people who live in Middle-earth don't really remember the West because it's been removed from the world. So my suspicion is that when Gandalf said to Faramir, my name in my youth was, I was called Olorin in my youth in the West, which is forgotten. That's probably it sounds like a phrase that they might even use in Gondor. That, by calling it the West which is forgotten, he means not just west of here, right? Because if he just said, I was called Olorin in the West, Faramir could say, what, like Rohan? Or on the other side of the Misty Mountains? Like over in Eriador? because that's west, right? Gondor is pretty far east as far as the lands of the stories are concerned. So he's specifying, when I say west, I mean like the serious west, right? Like the utter west. And so he's signaling that by saying the west which is forgotten. So not the western parts of Middle-earth, but the western land which has been taken, which has been removed from the world, and in that sense forgotten literally by almost everybody, and removed. So I think that he's signaling basically that's sort of a synonym for Valinor, and that's what he's explaining and kind of pointing to Faramir. That anyway is my understanding of that. Like I said, I think there are potentially other ways to read that. I would be willing to accept other possible readings, but that's the one that I've always had. Okay, hey Robin, you're never going to believe it, but I have with infinite labor collected all of the pieces to that random statue that was taken apart. Okay. It doesn't look like all of these belong to the statue I'm trying to put back together. That's okay. That doesn't make me want to throttle you at all, really. But I think enough of them do that I can make a good start of it. Okay, good. It might be a statue of Elendil? Well, that seems possible. Indeed, even probable. There were probably lots of statues of Elendil in these lands, so okay. I wonder where it once stood. Me too. Wow, okay. Yeah, so remember, this guy's not a ranger, right? He's a local guy, and he's like ranger friendly, right? So he's gonna so he's thinking. Remember, his whole purpose was he was like, hey, I want to do a favor for the Rangers, right? He's like a bit of a Dunedain brown noser, but that's cool, right? Okay, a hunter by the name of Nat Rapkins often travels far in the northwest. Oh, does he? Okay, and he conducts his hunts in the Emin Uiao. All right, Nat is a woodsman. Okay, and he should have returned. You don't want to say anything. She heard a terrible howling. Oh, dear. Right. Journey to the northwest, to the northernmost tip of the lake. Oh, goody. And cross the Evenrills and search for Nat Rapkins. Okay. All right. So he's what is he? A woodsman? Okay. He's a woodsman of no small skill. All right. I have to go to the very northern extremity of the lake and search among the corpses I will probably find there for a corpse which looks like the corpse of a woodsman of no small skill. So we'll do that. All right, back to Tinadur. At least I can do some swift traveling here. Make life a little bit easier. So can I just say that Puddy, which appears to be the surname of the stable master there in Ostvarad, is a rather unfortunate last name, and one wonders how exactly he got the name Puddy as his last name. I mean, of course, it perhaps doesn't sound nearly as dorky to him as it does to me. That, of course, would only appear probable, as it would be hard, I think, for it to seem as dorky to him as it does to me. But anyway, I wonder if there's some kind of punishment being meted out to his family or something. Oh, sorry. We're going to take a boat. Okay, so we should be able to take a boat to the northern part of the island. Excuse me. Hello, everybody. Yep, good to see you guys again. It's the untrusting Dunedain to whom we proved ourselves, but now it's time to get in the boat. Hey there, Arthurian. Let's go to the Eve Spires, right? I think that's what we want. Yeah, this is what we want. Okay. Oops, no, not my inventory. The map. Okay, yep. What is it? Rat Napkins? No, Nat Rapkins. Okay. Though Rat Napkins is a much better name, is it, right? We are looking for Rat Napkins. No, not. Hey, look, it's an ent. Hi there. The only other ent I've ever met tried to kill me, and I had to destroy it. Yeah, hi, Long Bow. That's a good name, as your bows are indeed quite long. Yeah. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, we got elves, bog guardians, and ents. Well, ent hanging out here together. Yeah, sorry, I've got some rat napkins to look for, so I'm gonna have to leave you there. I wish I had some time to hang out with the ent and help him out, as doubtless there's trouble in the land and he's real sensitive to it, and probably doesn't like some of the newcomers because he doesn't like change. But nevertheless, we're gonna have to hustle on because we've got swords to reforge. Okay, so hey, look at that, Gauredain Gorge Stalkers. I was saying can't one-shot my horse, but apparently they can two-shot my horse. That's fine. Boy, it's a little crowded up here. Okay. Hey, wow, did Gauredain just heal me from a moving horse? It's pretty good. It's got skills. Skills which elude a poor hobbit, and his pony riding skills are not nearly up to that. Okay. Somebody still chasing me? Guess so. All right, we're climbing up to see if there are any rat napkins up here. Okay. Here's the gorge where the river flows down into the lake. Here we've got some more of these Gauredain, which is a good name. Gaur, G-A-U-R, is the root which means wolf, and Edain, of course, means man, means human. Let's see. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh well. It is too late for poor Nat Rabbit. Do we need a post-mortem? Right? Oh, wow. Yeah, you can tell from his mustache. That is the mustache of a woodsman with no small skill. Yeah. But unfortunately, he's head down next to the ravine. It doesn't look good for Nat Rapkins. Oh dear, he's still alive. He's still alive? He attacked... Wait, you attacked the Gauredain? No, you were attacked by the terrible creatures. Okay. Bring your pack to Ostfarad and beware the Gauredain. Do you need, like, some medical attention or something? You know, can I call somebody? You need... I got, like, a potion or something? I got... oh, dear. Oh, God. Wow! Oh, you're right. They were coming to attack me from the... Right, triggered by the... Okay, I was going to say. They just wandered in? Okay, so the Gauredain tribesmen. So let's look at this. So they wear these wolf pelts, right, with the heads over their heads, right? That's very chic. Oh dear. They've got these bone... Right, I'm looking here. Look at these bone chest things going on, right? That's really funny. Is that actually, like, abdominal armor made out of, like, wolf ribs or something? How funny. Oh, and they're going with the, like, big furry boots, but bare legs look. You know, that's a really daring look. Everybody, Gauredain. Okay, all right, Gauredain Slayer. Anyway, so the Wolfmen, yeah, they look unfriendly. And now, those of you who have read. Oh wait, am I going down the wrong hill? It's not the hill yet. Those of you who have read either Unfinished Tales or the independently published Children of Húrin that Christopher Tolkien published several years back. If you've read either of those, you may remember that something very like that name, that is, you know, the Wolfmen, was used actually of the band of outlaws that Turin Turambar led. When Turin Turambar flees Doriath and takes up his life of outlawry, and I love the word outlawry, by the way. Anytime you can make a noun by adding ry to something like that, it's automatically cool. Like that's like sigildry, you'll notice, is kind of the same sort of thing. I mean, it's just awesome. Anyway, so when he took up his life of outlawry, the men that he joined were called wolves. Like they were called like wolfmen by the local... Oh wait, I don't need to talk to anybody here. Bye, Mr. Ent. Good to see you. If I ever meet Treebeard, I'll tell him you said hi. Yeah. Good to meet you. Okay, back to Tinadir. So yeah, as I was saying, that when he joined those outlaws. The outlaws were called wolfmen, but that was just because they were being compared to wolves by the woodmen who lived in the area, the people who were basically like the Bjornings, and not in the sense that they could turn themselves into bears, but in the sense that they lived near the woods and stuff. Anyway, where am I going? Asked for Rod. Okay. So that's one of the first places we see that. Now, of course, you can see what they've done in Lotro is they've taken the wolfmen, which was that was a metaphor, right? These were normal human beings which were being compared to wolves in the sense that they were outlaws and savage and untrust. You don't want to go around them, and they travel in a pack and prey upon others. So because they were bandits and outlaws, that's why they were compared to wolves. But that, by the way, is something, in doing that, Tolkien was following the pattern that you see in a lot of those kinds of local languages, as for instance in Anglo-Saxon, where the word for wolf and the word for outlaw were the same. And again, the idea seems to be that it's basically a metaphor, just as the word Bjorn means bear, but it also means warrior, because a good warrior is like a bear, right? So that kind of name crossover happened a lot, and that's the sense in which Tolkien used it. The Turbine folks, of course, have changed the context.
Can't you leave me to my misery?
Yeah, he was well liked. It's too bad. The darn thing of it, Robin, is that he was alive when I was there, but I think he just survived long enough to croak right in front of me. It was a little bit sad. I'm not going to pretend. Okay, you're going to return the pack. Yeah. He did speak of the Gauredain, and I met the Gauredain. Yeah, they've always been a danger. Agreed. Yeah, they've been. Oh, they're bolder than usual. Oh no, something must be done. I suspect by me. Oh dear. Yes, indeed. Okay. You don't know what made them choose the life they lead. Whether it be fascination with the form of the wolf or some other reason, but I do know that they have become entirely evil. So they didn't used to be entirely evil. Now they do. These men wear wolf skins and cloaks, yeah, I saw that, and bedeck themselves with ornaments fashioned from bloody teeth and fangs. Absolutely, saw that too. And it's said that they move with unbelievable speed and attack with strength beyond that of a normal man. Swell, so one hobbit should be a match for them. Nat must be avenged, Gryfflet, and the Gauredain taught not to attack. Ooh, that's going to be a hard lesson. The people who live, not to attack the people who live around the lake, right? Direct object, okay. Journey northwest into Emin Uel and defeat some of these evil men. Return to me with some of their weapons that I may destroy them. What, like out of spite? Okay, right, yeah. Collect makeshift claws. That sounds like fun. Okay, no problem. Yeah, Robin, I'd be happy to do that. I would have been a little more convenient to have done that, say, for instance, while I was right there. Just then, but I'm happy to make another round trip up to the extreme northwest of Evendim, because that's fine. So anyway, I was then talking about the Gauredain and what the Turbine folks have done. So the Turbine folks have taken the concept of wolfmen, right, and they have removed it from the context, the sort of the metaphorical context that name originally has in Tolkien's usage. And they have made them into a tribal people which actually sort of holds the wolf as their totem, right? So they are wolfmen in a much more literal sense than the wolfmen that we meet in Tolkien. Now, of course, indeed, the ones who in Tolkien's world would be called wolfmen, ironically, are these tomb robbers who are everywhere, right? So in fact, the sort of the biggest central issue... sorry, my loading screen is taking an ominously long time. I'm not going to pretend that isn't just a touch concerning. With some of the issues that have been going on with the lag issues and stuff that the server has had, I've often been... Once or twice I have hung up or crashed, actually, even at a load screen. So let's hope I don't have to reboot. So that would be less than perfectly fun. Come on now. You can do it, Landreval server. I believe in you, Landreval server. Okay, Landreval server, I'm going to keep talking and hope that you're going to come up here. As much as I enjoy looking at this picture of a Knickerbreaker. So, okay. We'll play the game. Where is this picture on the loading screen? Well, the Knickerbreaker on the sand with the mountains in the background makes it pretty easy, right? So this is just north of, what is it called? Oatburton, right? On the way to, you know, that sort of sandy desert-like patch south of the river there, north of the Shire. Oh dear. This is looking unhappy. Oop, and there it goes. Connection has been lost. Let us attempt to find it again. Okay. Yeah, like I said, that is not the first time that happened in the last couple weeks. I have not normally had that problem, but lately it's been an issue. Okay. Here we go. Let's see what we can do. Okay. We're going to get Gryfflet back again. And we're going to re-enter Middle-earth. And it's going to be awesome. Okay. Re-entering Middle-earth. Let's get it right here. There we go. Okay. Here is hoping for the best. Whew. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Here we are. All right. Look at that's interesting, right? Where it put me right where I would normally appear from the swift travel, but not all the way back at the. Not all the way back at the stable master. Okay, anyway, all right. We're back in business here. All right. Wolfmen. Yeah, so I was saying the irony here is that we're introduced to the Wolfmen here in Evendim in the very place where the primary story of the whole region is these tomb robbers, right? The raiders, which are causing all this trouble. And they're exactly the kind of person, of man that Tolkien would call wolfmen. So I find that kind of fun and ironic. But I like the Gauredain, the wolfmen that Turbine has made. I think that they are kind of interesting. It's neat to have sort of different peoples. The way, of course, as where we are geographically here, right? Here in Evendim, just south of Foricel, and of course Foricel is just to the north of us there. So to have these, because the Gauredain, as you can tell by their clothing, are not only this sort of tribal culture, but they're also clearly like an Arctic tribal culture, dressed in furs the way that they do. Though again, with their jauntily bare legs and chests, which just, I assume, shows how tough they are. My 7-year-old is kind of like that. He doesn't ever like wearing his coat outside in the wintertime because he's like way too tough for that. So the Gauredain, therefore, are much like my 7-year-old son. That's clearly the moral of this story. Hey, Mr. Gauredain tribesman, no offense, but I kind of have to hunt you down and kill a whole bunch of you and, take trophies back home with me. Does that seem barbaric to you? Right? I hope that you understand. Probably you don't. But, anyway, it's, I'm supposed to be teaching you a lesson. That's what I'm doing. I'm teaching you, don't come down and attack the lake people. Bad, Gauredain. No lake people for you. That's right. But how are they supposed to learn the lesson if I kill them all? Hey, where are you? Oh, that was obnoxious. Okay. All right. Oh, you netted me to the ground. That was cunning. Oh, yeah, you did the whole net and run thing. Ah, yeah. Well, I was one too many for you. Oh, stunned from stealth. You never saw that coming. That's right. Okay. So meanwhile, I'm going to study your gear a little bit more. Oh. Well, I was kind of interested in that blue paint pattern, but I'm going to have to find another specimen, I suppose. Ooh, can I pick their pockets? That is a question. Do wolfmen have pockets that can be picked? And do their purses talk? I failed to burgle any items! I'm such a loser. Oh, man. Okay, anyway, so back to the tribesmen here. Alright, we're looking... Okay, alright, so we got this... Is it... Would you hold still? Yeah, I think that blue... Right, yeah, that's blue paint on his biceps and abdomen there. Here, sorry. So, okay, I'll get on with killing you. Yeah, because it matches the blue that's on his face and sort of somewhat jauntily on his loincloth there. Is it a feather on his loincloth, or is it like something's tail? Yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks like they're compensating. Okay. Oh, good. I collected more makeshift claws. Oh, I see. Is that how they fight? That's why he's like smacking at me, because they actually have makeshift claws on their hands? Is that right? Have they made like claw gloves? So I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of awesome, actually. So they don't fight with swords or anything. They strap claws onto the back of their hands. It's kind of hardcore, you know. I mean, it's not totally lupine, right? If they really wanted to go all lupine and, you know, to get all wolfy, they would they'd be biting me, right? I mean, wolves can claw you, but it's not like, they're not like cats. You know, they're not just going to stand there and be like, meow. So, yeah. But still, you know, A for effort as far as the whole wolf motif is concerned. You know, that is like not carrying swords, because they could carry swords and like, you know, be all metaphorical and stuff. Hey, I want to, do you guys, yeah, so you keep the wolf tail on, right? So we've got there's the wolf pelt legs hanging down behind your legs, right? And the wolf tail making you look like you've got a tail. Yeah, so it's this. So I guess you have to tailor this to, you know, like you have to choose a wolf that's the right size so that its head fits over your head and its tail looks like it's coming out your own backside. And they're not boots. I thought they were boots. He's actually barefoot, but he's got leg warmers. Yeah. Leg warmers, like, you know, like you know, late 80s high school girl fashions. Leg warmers. Even at the time, that was hilarious. Anyway, yeah, that kind of looks like, but they're real puffy, those leg warmers. I mean, that's some serious. He's gonna have just the warm. You're just gonna bleed to death over there, man. Not fooling anyone with that. Okay, let's see. How are we doing? 2 more gorge stalkers and 2 more tribesmen. All right. That's a bear. When they stand up like that, they look a lot like the hairy guys, but they are still different. And that's an actual wolf, not to be mistaken with the wolf men. I think, so as not to wander too far, I'm going to head back down. I can always go up the other slope if I totally run out of Gauredain to hunt. Alright, I gotta look at those leg warmers a little bit more. See, I've been spending so much time looking at agriculture, I've neglected to look at wardrobe, right? Clearly, that's gotta change. Yeah, time to do some close investigation of the various fashion choices of Middle-earth. That is obviously got to happen. Oh, good. I was hoping that the guys down here would have regenerated already. Okay, Gorge Stalker. I'm going to teach you a thing or two about stalking gorges. Nobody stalks a gorge like I stalk a gorge. Failed again! Maybe they're just lame. Come to think of it. I mean, again. Okay, you know, the more I think about it, the more ill-advised it comes to appear. To attempt to pick the pocket of a man wearing a loincloth. At the end of the day, that's just probably not smart. I don't think I'm going to try to do that anymore. Now, the Gorge Stalkers, I notice, don't have the blue paint. Is there anything else? What else about their costume distinguishes them? Does that make them stockier? I mean, not S-T-O-C-K. Don't do it! Oh, I thought he was throwing himself off the cliff. I was going to be like, it's okay, you have so much to live for, like being stabbed in the back by me. See, he does not have the whole abdominal rib thing going on, right? He's just, excuse me, Mr. Good. Okay, yeah, that was kind of half-hearted in the running away thing. I don't know what you're about to do, but I stunned you just in time. Okay, so he's got this elaborate tooth neck thing going on that covers his whole chest, but it's clearly not armor in the way that this, the tribesman's stuff really could serve as a kind of, at least partial, abdominal protection there. I mean, look at that, right? Yeah, you get your whole abs covered with another set of wolf ribs there. Right, and you got the war paint, right, which is looking extremely intimidating, right, and the whole 4-eye thing going on with the wolf. And notice that, like, the Gauredain taxidermists apparently catch the wolves in a really scowly expression, right, to make their warriors look the more intimidating. It's a nice touch. Fine quality of taxidermy amongst the Gauredain. Okay, I don't need any more Gorge Stalkers, thanks. But I do need another tribesman. Okay, so we got a wolf there. Alright. Let's see, I don't want to get attacked by a bear. What's a bear? Just need a tribesman. One more tribesman. Indigo plant. No thanks, I'm good. Oh, what? Oh, Gorge Stalker. And actual wolf. Okay, and those crawlers, which are gross. They're gross everywhere. There is nowhere in Middle-earth that those things are not gross. Okay. Who's up here? There you are. Just what I need. Okay, yeah. Alright, so I think... I wonder what his shoulder pads are made out of. Right? Are those bone? Are they like the shoulder bones of wolves? Or are they feathers? No, those look like bones. I mean, I assume they're made out of wolf parts. But, okay, anyway. Alright. We're good. We got to bring the makeshift claws back to Rob and Dunkley and tell them that we have notched plenty of Gauredain, right? So we're all set. Okay. Hey, Remin... I didn't really introduce myself. Reminilf? Reminilf. Oops. I'm stuck in the boats. I'm in a boat traffic jam. Okay. Reminilf. Reminilf. Hey, Reminilf. Yeah. Okay, you elfly fellow. Oh, good to see so. So the elves are hanging up here with the Ents. Right, of course. Ent, singular. Longbow. That makes sense. Back to Tinadir, back to Ranger headquarters. Everybody. Yep, still doing trustworthy things. This is me. going about my business, slaughtering people who were bad guys anyway. It doesn't make me less trustworthy just because I was out bounty hunting up there in the north. You can still rely on me. Okay, now here's hoping that we make it through to Ostvarad without having to reboot the game. That's my humble hope. Okay. All right. Let's see what exalted and highly dignified task Robin Dunkley has for us now. Though I have to say, for all my complaints about going and gathering improbable statue pieces and slaughtering Gauredain, that's still better than the paralegal work I was being compelled to do by the Rangers. At least Robin doesn't have me do filing.
It's a sorry day.
The claws fill you with dread. Well, they hunt their own kin with these? Oh, us, you mean. Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they're our kin, in the sense. Yes, Nat has found peace. Yeah, he probably died. I'm almost sure he was dead when I left him behind, if that's any comfort. Not that it is really. Kind of makes me uncomfortable that I was not able to bring any medical care to Rat Napkins. Okay, finished remaking the statue of Elendil. Oh, look who's so confident about the identification before he's even finished reassembling it. Okay, you don't have all the missing fragments. Oh, come on, what am I, a miracle worker? But some other adventurers are helping me out. Good, you've got a whole team out quartering the region, right? Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, frisking every tomb robber that you find to see if they've made off with a piece of statue. That's good. That's good. You keep at it, Robin. You arrange the troops. Organize a regular rotation. It's fantastic. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, but you have to speak with me about something else. You've received word from Cowanglad. Oh, he's returned from his meeting with the Blue Lady. Well, I hope that went well for him. Okay, he wants us to return so we may tell of his meeting with the Blue Lady. Okay, right. Yeah. No problem. Good to hang out with you, Robin Dunkley. That was excellent. Let's see what wonderful chores Cowanglad has, and most, of course, I want to hear about his meeting with his aquatic lady friend. Okay, back to Tinadir, and again, here's hoping that all will go well on the reload. Yes. Okay. Very good. Back to Tinadir we go. Okay, Cowanglad, childhood friend of Aragorn, and who is recently. Now, if you think I'm teasing Cowanglad too much for potentially having a crush on the Blue Lady, just remember that this is the kind of marrying up that guys do in Tolkien all the time, right? Nothing could be more likely than that Cowanglad has a sort of a hopeless infatuation with the water nymph, like the Goldberry's other cousin or something. That's just the kind of thing that happens all the time. All right, Cowanglad, I'm glad to see you again too. No, idle I have not been. Definitely not, except for last week. But the server was down, Cowanglad. It wasn't my fault. Okay, Robin spoke of the aid that I rendered. Yeah, good. Yes, they're all so much better for my service. They have several more chunks of statue that they didn't have before, so they've been infinitely benefited by this. You spoke to Gwyndeth, okay, right, being a little discreet there, a little shy, but that's okay. She's not satisfied. Oh, she wants to meet me herself. Really? Oh, goody. This will be my third water nymph of my journeys. Okay. She will only allow us to recover the Silithar if she believes I am worthy of her trust and that Aragorn is ready for the burden that awaits him. Okay, so we got a two-parter here. She didn't hesitate to rebuke him when he and I encountered her almost 60 years ago. Okay, so back when Aragorn was all like brash and cheeky at the age of 30, right? Okay. I have no doubt she would do so again. Okay, yeah, no, probably not. Water Nymph probably hasn't changed all that much in the last 30 years, or 60 years. Okay, speak to her with respect, right? Okay, I won't hide anything, I promise. She had patience only for the kings of Enuminus. Is that a classist remark? Are you worried that I'm too much of a peasant? Should I put my straw hat back on? Is that what you're afraid of, Calenglad? Was that a veiled hint that I shouldn't wear my straw hat when I meet her? Right? Okay, fine. I'll dress up, I promise. Okay, she grieved. Right, it is said that Elendo consulted her often on various matters, and she grieved his passing. Okay, all right. So Elendo and the Blue Lady were tight. Good. She lives at Gwyndathrond, a cave in western Emin Uyal, behind a clear waterfall that pours from the heights and feeds a shady pool at Rushingdale. I will need to circle the lake. That sounds like fun, for the pool is tucked among the hills on the far side. It will be a long journey. Oh, good. All right. Okay, so let's see. What are we talking about here? Yes, the very far side. Well, I can get halfway across and then we'll swim. So no problem, Calenglad. If it's all the same to you, I'm not going to go around the lake. I'm going to go across the lake. That's just what I'm going to do. So, hey, Arthurian boatman.
Greetings.
Take me to Tile Ruinen. That's where I want to go. Endel. Yeah, I don't envy you your job. Okay. Off I go. Do I have any yeah, I don't know if that increases my swim speed, but just in case it does. And off we go. Okay. Here's some good old-fashioned Evendim region action for you, right? Let us live stream swimming across the lake, right? Absolutely. I hope this brings back all manner of lovely memories for many of you. So, okay. Meanwhile, as I swim across, let's do another lore question. Remember, please do keep lore questions coming. You can email them to me at olson@mythgard.org. Or Olson at tolkienprofessor.com. That also works. And you can put them in the chat here if you're listening live. And I'd be happy to answer questions as they come in. Okay, let's see. Let's go back a bit here. Okay, there's a question that Carvet asked a long time ago. And I keep forgetting to get around to it. He was saying, after questing in Lothlorien recently and reflecting on some of the elvish stuff in the Hobbit movie, I was wondering, would there have been restrictions on intermingling of the Lothlorien versus the Mirkwood elves in the romantic arena, Noldor versus Sylvan and the like? Excellent question. I have to say, this is one thing that I was really impressed by in the Hobbit film. I was impressed that they actually did the whole Sylvan Sindar thing. So first, let's back up a second and do a little bit of a refresher course. Okay, so I was going to say, so you may remember that the Wood Elves are mostly Sindar, but are mostly Sylvan Elves. But let me back up a step further than that. The different kinds of elves, right? I'm going to not do a whole lecture on the entire history of the elves in the Silmarillion. But we get that one summary paragraph in The Hobbit, right, which explains that some of the elves, the elves were originally, they originally awoke in Middle-earth, and some of the elves were taken, as it says in The Hobbit, to Faerie in the west, that is to Valinor, and went to live there. There were the three main kindreds of elves that went off into the west. One of those kindreds, of course, is the Noldor, and it's the Noldor, most of whom returned back to Middle-earth. Ooh, treasure! Look at this. Oh, come on! Okay, you 90th level characters who are looking for treasure. There's some right there. Hey, I see a waterfall. I think we're going the right way. Oh man, that was so disappointing to be a burglar and to find this random island in the middle of the lake and to find treasure on it and not be able to open it. That is such a tease. Anyway, okay. So as I said, right, we've got the Noldor who went to Valinor and then returned back to Middle-earth. And that's a big deal, because the elves who lived over in Valinor with the Valar and, in the light of the two trees of Valinor, were greater and stronger than any of the elves of Middle-earth. So when they came back, they were... they were a more upgrade from the elves, the dark elves who remained behind, the elves of the Twilight. Now, of those elves who remained behind, they were basically divided essentially into two categories. There are lots of other subdivisions, but the only two that really matter for the purposes of this particular discussion are the Sylvan Elves and the Sindar. And those are basically the Sylvan Elves or the Sindar Elves. The Sindarin Elves were the ones who lived in the kingdom of King Thingol and his wife Melian. Now this is important because Melian was one of the Maiar, like Gandalf. But so she was of divine race. She was basically one of the Maiar. All of the Maiar and the Valar are called gods in the old Silmarillion works. He changed that. By the time we get to the published Silmarillion, he doesn't call them gods anymore. But originally they were called that. So Melian is of divine race, and so her power and influence kind of went over her kingdom and blessed her people, the Sindar, the people of Doriath. Who lived under King Thingol. So the Sindar are those gray elves, as they came to be called. Those elves. So they didn't make it over to Valinor, so they are still lesser in that sense than the Noldor. All of the elves who went over to Valinor and came back, but they are still greater in sort of greater in essence, greater in being stronger, more powerful, wiser, more beautiful than the Sylvan Elves. The Sylvan Elves were just elves which were just kind of had been hanging out in Middle-earth doing nothing in particular, right? Minding their own business. So this is lovely. Can I just say what a lovely place you have right behind the waterfall? We've got the sheets of water coming through and the lovely hanging vines here. This is really good. Isn't this great? This is beautiful. Can I say this is much nicer than the place that the Red Maid had, right? And I like particularly that you don't even seem to have one altar for human sacrifice anywhere around here. And that's an upgrade. I really got to tell you, Gwyndeth, I like that. So yes, you look kind of like Goldberry, a little more blue, right? A little more blue, and certainly bluer than the Red Maid, but, kind of looking Red Maid-ish, except, again, not so much with the red. I like your dress. Very nice, right? We've got the fish scale motif going on here, right? Both on her sleeves and about her waist, right? Oh, yeah, that's and fetching little blue sandals, right, on your just ever so faintly blue tinged skin, right? Do you have elvish ears? Can't really tell. Do you have elvish ears? No, round ears. Yeah, okay, so you're human looking. That's interesting all by itself, right? That's interesting, of course, because this form is presumably a form that she's taken on herself. She's not born into a humanoid form, right? But any of these... Gwyndeth, of course, would be a Maya too, like Melian, though presumably less powerful than Melian. A more minor spirit, a minor water spirit, of course, in her case, who seems to be associated here with, not this frog, but with this lake. So, in other words, she's like Goldberry. She's like Gold. I'm not intending any mischief towards that frog. I just want you to know that, Gwyndeth. I didn't target it for any malicious purpose. Anyway, so she's like Goldberry, who was associated with, it appears, with the river Withywindle. Goldberry, of course, as you will remember, is called the daughter of the river, and Gwyndeth may well be the daughter of the lake in that same way. So okay. But again, it's the similarity with the Red Maid and with Goldberry. I wonder if... did I mention that I met Goldberry, Gwyndeth? Yeah, we're friends and stuff. I helped her get water. She gave me water, and I met her husband, who's a little bit strange but cool. He saved me. No, he didn't. I was totally beating this white, and then he came along and like saved me. Though I was going to totally take him anyway. But that's fine. It was good. It was good. Okay, yeah, I'm the messenger from Aragorn. At least you believe me. There, I speak with his voice, and he shall be judged by yours, messenger, for he chose you as his agent. Oh, no pressure, right? So he's going to be judged by my actions. Lovely. Okay, if there is much of Elendil in him, I do not doubt that Aragorn, son of Arathorn, will be found worthy. If there is not, the Silithar will remain where it has lain for centuries. All right, let's do this, Blue Lady. Okay, before he went away to his doom, Elendil often spoke with me beside Nanuio. We would walk among the reeds and speak of his kingdom, and he treated me with grace and respect. Okay. It is for the memory of great Elendil that I maintain the lake and protect the relics of his line. At the behest of Amlith, the last king to sit enthroned in Innuminus. Okay, yeah, before they moved out to Fornost, right, getting all military, right, as the civil wars among the Dunedain were moving along. I permitted the waters of Nanuiel to wash over the walls of the city, and the treasures of proud Elendil now sleep soundly in the watery half-light. Good. Right, okay, yeah, we seek the Silithar that passed from Gil-galad to Elendil in his line through the safekeeping of Círdan the shipwright. Okay, so Gil-galad gave it to Elendil. All right. It was the will of... So he can't have had it very long, Elendil. So the Silithar, this is not something that he brought from Númenor. Right, got it. Okay, it was the will of Amleth that the Silithar be kept safe. Right, okay. The islands of Tilruinen have been overrun by salamanders. Oh dear. Overrun by salamanders and corrupted... What happened here? Oh dear. Corrupted beasts. Oh, they're corrupted, yeah. That singe the grasses and taint the waters. That's no good. Who wants that? Perhaps when I return, I will have proof of the worthiness of Aragorn, son of Arathorn, through his messenger. Okay, so I'm supposed to go kill salamanders because they are corrupt beasts. No problem. I enjoyed the swim very much, and I will enjoy it again a second and indeed a third time. That sounds great. So, no problem. Back we go. All right. Okay. Here we are in Rushing Dale. All right, we've got to, yes, we've got to swim all the way back to Tilruinen. No problem. That's okay. I had gotten as far as explaining about Sylvan Elves and Sindar, but I hadn't fully answered the question anyhow. So, all right, so let's get back to it now. So again, the Sylvan Elves are the ones who always stayed in Middle-earth, minding their own business. They were never influenced sort of from above by Maiar or Valar and sort of raised in blessedness and stature, as the Sindar were by Melian, wife of Thingol. And so those are the Grey Elves, those are the Sindar. And then the Noldor, of course, are the ones who actually went to Valinor and lived there and then came back to Middle-earth. So of the elves that we meet, so let's do a quick review, right? Okay, so Galadriel is... Whoa! Oh, a new version of Java is available. How convenient. Thank you for interrupting. In order to let me know that. I will keep that in mind. All right. So as I was saying, we've got the okay, Sindar. So Galadriel is a Noldor. Right, she is a Noldo. She came back to Middle-earth. She was born in Valinor, and she came back to Middle-earth with Fëanor and Fingolfin. Well, with Fingolfin particularly. So Galadriel is one of the few pure-blood Noldor that we meet. I say pure-blood because, of course, Elrond is connected to the Noldor, but he is not pure Noldor. Eärendil was, of course, Eärendil, his father, was half Noldor, half human, and his mom, Elwing, was the granddaughter of Luthien, who is half Sindar, half divine, right? Half, her mom was Melian. So there's Sindar, Noldor, and human blood in Elrond. The situation is that in the Third Age, the survivors of Beleriand, the survivors of the land out in the west, which was destroyed at the end of the First Age, most of the elves returned back to Valinor and to Elvenhome. But some of the Noldor chose to stay, some of the Sindar chose to stay. So some of the Sindar then moved west across the Misty Mountains, across the Blue Mountains, and then across the Misty Mountains, and came to live among the Sindar elves who were there. So the elves of Mirkwood, for instance. The elves of Mirkwood were there the whole time. Like they've been living in Mirkwood time out of mind, right? While all the First Age stuff was happening, all those plots and things with Morgoth were going on, they were already there in Mirkwood, living there, and as I said before, minding their own business. Hey, look at this statue. That's a real nice statue, that is. Looks dirty, though. That's a really big Knickerbreaker, I gotta tell you. But anyway, I'm not here to kill Knickerbreakers. I'm here to kill salamanders. Excuse me, defeat salamanders. Sorry, I'm trying not to aggro the lake skimmer onto me here too. All right. So in the Third Age, some of the Sindar who stayed came among the Sylvan elves, and they were basically taken as leaders and chieftains by the Sylvan elves. That's who Thranduil is. Thranduil and Legolas are both Sindars. So they are Sindarin elves who live among the Sylvan elves. Hey, you get back here. Don't you attack my healer. I'll give you what for if you do that. Of course, I was in the midst of giving you what for anyway. Oh, sorry how he kind of set you on fire like that. Yeah. It's okay, I got this. Oh, see, look there. I caught myself on fire. Well, that'll teach me. Where are all the salamanders? Nothing but lake skimmers. Okay, here's a little salamander nesting zone. All right. So the common pattern that we see in Rovanion here, in the Third Age, both in Mirkwood and in Lothlorien, and this is something that a lot of people forget. Both in Mirkwood and in Lothlorien, the situation that we have is the elves are a Sylvan people who are ruled over by Sindar kings. By kings of other elvish race. In the case of Mirkwood, Sylvan race. In Thranduil and Legolas. In the case of Lothlorien, of course, the Galathrim are Sylvan elves as well. But they, of course, are ruled over by a Noldor. It's complicated too. Celeborn is not a Noldor. Celeborn has a really complicated history in Tolkien's thought. But basically, the Celeborn that we meet in The Lord of the Rings appears to be the Celeborn he was a Sindar. He was one of Thingol's people. The story in the published Silmarillion is that Galadriel lived for a while with Thingol and Melian in Doriath, and that's where she and Celeborn met, and we're not Celegorm. He's totally somebody different. Anyway, she and Celeborn met in Doriath, yeah, and that's kind of like where they met and fell in love and then got married, and like the whole time, Galadriel was like carefully taking notes about how you do the whole thing where you are like the wise woman who is married to a king who is technically in charge, even though you know more than he does, and you're like really the wise one, and he's probably not going to pay a lick of attention to anything you say anyway. So she was learning from the master, Melian, how to fill that role, because Thingol seemed almost never to listen to Melian, even though she was like a goddess and knew what she was talking about. But anyway, I think I'm on my last salamander now. Yeah, time flies when you're slaughtering salamanders. So this pattern, so you've got Celeborn the Sindar and Galadriel the Noldor married to each other, ruling over a group of elves, the Golothrim, who are Sindars, or Sylvan elves. Sorry, they are Sylvan elves. Celeborn is a Sindar, Galadriel is a Noldo. And whereas in Mirkwood you have the Sindar royal family, and then you have the rest of the elves are Sylvan elves. So there's the situation. Now, as I said, going back now, having given all the laborious background here, I said I was impressed at what they did in the Hobbit movie, and I really was. I was impressed that they actually introduced that distinction as a thing in the Hobbit movies, right? I mean, it was I didn't really expect that they would kind of drill down in detail so far as to really talk about the the differences between the different sort of social classes of elves, in a sense, that existed there in Mirkwood. Now, in the Hobbit films, this was done in order to indicate like why the relationship between Legolas and Tauriel was transgressive, right? Because Tauriel was a Sylvan elf, like most of the other elves of Mirkwood, and Legolas, as part of the royal family, was Sindar. That Thranduil was a snob is, of course, not something that's asserted. Certainly not that kind of a snob. We have no textual evidence for such a thing. But again, that there was a difference between him and Legolas and the rest of their people is true to the book. So the idea of making Thranduil kind of elitist and snobbish towards his people, and to think himself just himself and his son a cut above even his own subjects, is defensible. I mean, it's that particular spin on his character is not explicitly stated in the book, but it's not wildly improbable. It definitely could happen. Anyway, so, but again, I thought even just the fact that they made a gesture at that distinction in things. But then now the question is, how much mingling would there be? Carvet was asking, in particular for romantic purposes. Would there have been intermarriages between the Sindar and the Sylvan elves? Well, the short answer is there are very few Sindar and Sylvan, and apparently a grand total of one of the Noldor, Galadriel herself, living in that area. So I don't think it's, as far as we can tell, it's not really a big issue over there. Do the different, peoples of the elves intermarry? It doesn't seem to me like that would necessarily be a huge deal. Like, it's not really made a big deal for instance. I mean, Galadriel marries below herself. Celeborn is a Sindar and she's Noldor. But that's not really made a big deal of. When Galadriel's parents were of different kindreds as well. Galadriel's dad was a Noldor, one of the three sons, the youngest of the three sons of the king of the Noldor, Finwë. Finarfin was her dad's name. But she also is. But her mom was a. Her mom was one of the Teleri. She was Thingol's niece, essentially, which is why she went to live in Doriath for a while. So in other words, her parents were mixed race. She married, a guy of other race, other elfish, peoples. There doesn't seem to be all that big of a deal. And as far as like Thranduil not wanting, not thinking that Legolas should deign to marry a lowly sylvan elf. Well, ooh, sorry. Okay. I apologize. Apparently, I find the idea of Legolas marrying down so appalling it just makes my whole chest explode. And I lose my voice entirely. What I was going to say is, the question would be, who's he gonna marry? It's not like there's a whole bunch of Sindar living there. It's just the king's house. So he'd kind of have to marry a Sylvan elf if he were interested in marrying and having an heir at all. So, anyway. Whew. Sorry for the throat issues there. All right. Okay, Gwyndeth. The salamanders are dead.
Pray your need is worthy of my time.
Oh, yeah. Now, that's not fair. I've defeated some salamanders. There are many who would do such a thing when asked. Why should this prove yourself worthy of what you seek? Well, that's what you asked me to do. If you didn't think this would prove me worthy, why'd you ask me to do it?
Why do you trouble me?
Come on now. I did see the statue. Was that a statue of Elendo? I could have guessed. It looked kind of dirty, right? Yeah, corrupted by the vile salamander. What do they do to it? Never mind. Don't want to know. Tainted with dread ichor. Oh dear. That's even worse than peeing on it, which is what I assumed they'd been doing. And the others had been removed from its pedestal. Oh no! The other statue has been lost! Oh no! Where would we find the lost statue of Elendo? Wait, I know a guy. I know a guy who is who is in the statue restoration business. Yeah. All right. If I can restore them, you'll like that. All right. All right. As for the missing statue, like I said, I know a guy. I have to go to the Eve Spires and talk to the elves there, because the elves there are particularly good at statue maintenance. All right. We'll get some of the special cleaning supplies of the elves of the Eve Spires. That's good. So instead of doing sorting and filing, I'm now doing some routine cleaning and maintenance. Lots of high-profile chores I am doing here in Evendim. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go the fast way. I'm gonna go the fast way, that is by way of Mickle delving. Yes, sir. Okay, alright, by the bird and baby, okay. Because I don't want to swim all the way back across the lake one more time than I have to. Because we're running out of time here today. Before I lose my voice entirely, I want to see how far we can get. All right. Yeah, I'm good. I want to go to Tinadir. Please, because going by way of the Shire is much faster than swimming. All right. From here, we'll take a boat up to the eave spires, talk to the elves, see what they can offer by way of cleaning supplies.
What do you need?
Oh, no, sorry. Sorry, Nat Collop. My apologies, right? I was thinking of swift travel, so I came to you naturally because, Nat Collop, you are famous for the swiftness of your travel options. But that is not indeed where I was going. It's actually Alfurion, the boat guy. Hey, Alfurion, boat guy. Back to the Eve Spires for me, because I hear these elves have a line of cleaning products that is just not to be beaten. Hey, is this you? Do you do... Aha! Okay, so I'm looking for something... I'm looking for a cleaning solution. Not too abrasive. Yeah. You've seen her beneath the trees now and then. Oh, that's kind of special. Yep, she bore the kings of Enuminus great respect. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I heard about the raising of the water of the lake. All right. I seek a draft that may cleanse the stone of the corruption of the salamanders. Yeah, there's... Never mind. It's ichor, actually, but that's... But I think that's a euphemism, honestly. Deadly ichor sounds much more, adventurous than salamander pee. Okay, I can give such a draft to you. Oh, goody! Goody. Do you have something for, carpet cleaning too, because my dog... Never mind. Take it to tile Renan and use it on the statue. Okay. Alright. It is enough to have a refreshingly brief conversation with someone new. Longbow is slow of speech in the nature of his kind. And Erkiel does not have patience she once had for my mischief. Oh, you're a mischievous elf? You naughty fellow. Okay. So yeah, hey, no, happy to have a brief conversation with you. I can understand how that would be refreshing, just standing here with this ent for company. All right. Wait, I missed him. Where's boat guy? Where's boat elf? Oh, hiding behind the tree. There you are, Remen elf.
What can I do for you?
Back to Tinadir, please. Yeah. Then I have to talk to Nat Collop and go back up and see my guy, right, about the... I got to see a guy about a statue. Right, let's see if he's... Meanwhile, Robin Dunkley has been busy at his work, at his jigsaw puzzle work.
Greetings.
All right, yeah, Osferat, yeah. Let's go up, see what Robin Dunkley has for me. Did you reassemble the statue? Right, you don't need me to fetch more pieces, I hope. Imagine the coincidence that these pieces of statue souvenirs I took off the bloody corpses of all of those tomb raiders that I killed, and it turns out when you reassemble them, it makes a statue of Elendil, and not just any statue of Elendil, but the very statue of Elendil that that the Blue Lady needs for me to put on the pedestal there. This is fantastic. Okay, hey, Robin. Yeah, hook me up with the statue.
I don't know if you can help me.
A fortuitous wind. Yeah, I was thinking the wind has been seeming a little fortuitous during this whole quest chain, I gotta tell you. You finished remaking the statue. Hooray! Yeah, I know where it came from. I'd be happy to return it to the right place. Absolutely. Okay, you're going to give me the statue. Okay. Yeah. So, I think it would be awesome if Gryfflet could be depicted carrying the enormous statue of Elendil, which apparently I am now doing. Right? I mean, I'm not even going to arrange to have it like UPS'd down to Tau Ruinen or anything. I'm just going to haul it. I'm going to haul it on my own hobbitly back. That, I have to admit, seems slightly beyond merely customarily improbable. But that's okay. I am not only burglarious, but an unusually capable furniture mover as well. So we're entering the furniture moving as well as the furniture cleansing portion of this trip. Yes, moving furniture, cleaning furniture. This is what we do here at Gryfflet's Evendim Errand Services. So, all right. Yeah, I got back to Tau Ruinen. I've got I got a little install, got a little cleaning. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm looking for it. Oh, there's a pedestal. I see a pedestal. Let's see if we can't install the statue. This thing is killing my back. Just killing it. Oh, yeah. That's right. Looking good, Elendil. What are you doing? What's up with the... Alright, Knickerbreaker, I'm going to have to kill you. Because you're going to attack me anyway. And I really want to look at this statue, alright? So, get out of the way. I'm trying to admire the statue. Right? I had no beef with you. But you stand between Gryfflet and his statues, then there's going to be trouble. Okay. So, what are we doing here? So, we've got this crown. Notice the three-pointed crown that Elendil's wearing here, right? And notice also how this crown seems to be set into his helm, which is reminiscent, you'll remember, of the Númenórean war helms that Isildur made. Remember the note that the king of the crown of the king of Gondor was originally a Númenórean war helm. So he's got the crown thing. He's got his kingly beard, right? He's in armor. Sort of. He's robed, in a robe with armor, though. But what's the thing? The posture I don't get. Did he have something in his hand? What was it? His sword? Is he missing his sword? Was he holding Narsil in his upraised hand and looking up at it? So the statue has him looking up at an empty hand? Which is where the sword was? Because if so, that's a little cool, actually, right? Here I am on the quest to restore the sword of Elendil, right? To Elendil's heir. And part of this this is kind of foreshadowed by the statue, the empty-handed statue of Elendil. I kind of like that, right? Not going to lie, that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if that's if that actually works, but hey, it kind of seems to me to work. All right, we're riding over to the Gunky statue. Okay, I think I've got one little reptilian friend there. Oh, good. I lost him. Okay. All right, here's the one that's totally covered in salamander deadly ichor. Ah, that's right. Man, that elf cleaning product really does the trick. That's really great. I gotta get some of that for my playroom carpets. Because the dog just won't have done with that carpet. Okay. Very good. So, I think we're about out of time now. I just got to go back to Gwyndeth here. So what I think I'm going to do is stop here because we're out of time. I may swim across the lake, not on the air next time, so that we can do this. We can save us a little time next time. So that would be nice. So we'll plan to do that. Thanks everybody for joining me. I think we're going to get to the Tomb of Elendo next time. I'm excited. I think we should. We've got a few quests left, but having installed and cleaned statuary, we are pretty far down. So yeah, we're definitely going to get to the Tomb of Elendo next time. So it is my goal that Gryfflet will restore Narsil. I hope to see the reforging of Narsil by the end of next time. It's an ambitious goal, but I think we should be able to attain that goal, and then we'll be back over in the Trollshaws and ready to resume the epic quest line next week. So that will be very exciting. Keep in mind, don't forget, Saturday, January 30th is the date of the great Minas Tirith chicken run. We're planning to do the chicken run from Mickle Delving to Minas Tirith, and it'll be my first time seeing Minas Tirith. I've never been to Minas Tirith, so it'll be my first tour around Minas Tirith in the form of a chicken. Well, my first tour around Minas Tirith in any form, and it will be in the form of a chicken. So that should be a lot of fun. So don't forget to join us on the 30th of January. So thanks everybody, and I will see you guys next week. Lord willing and the server don't crash. See you guys. Bye now.